Hi and welcome back to my channel for another art journal collage. I'm working in my handmade junk art journal and I'm using just some leftover papers to start my background. And I'm using a glue stick to glue the papers down. I have them all laying on my desk. There is a big box full of leftovers or things I want to use for collaging, and I just grab them randomly and look what fits on the page and what doesn't. I will speed up this process a little bit so it doesn't get too long. I'm using all kinds of stuff here. This is an old book page that I painted with watercolors. The first piece I added was a piece of leftover watercolor paper where I tried out some color swatches. Of course, you can also use gel medium to stick the papers down, but I prefer the glue stick because it dries much quicker and I can keep on working on the page. I have linked up my blog post for this project in the video description and you can check that out. There are some photos posted. Here I picked a piece from a jelly print. I really like the colors and so I decided to add a strip of it to this page. It's always interesting to have different shapes on the page, so I have teared all the other pieces and this one has just two straight lines, and here I will add a circle. It's one of my free printables. They are available on my website and there is also a link in the video description. I'm taking a summer break from the free printables and will be back in October. I have no time at the moment to create free printables because of the release that came out last Sunday. I have a lot of work to do and we are maybe going on holidays by the mid of August, and I have to prepare some things before we leave in. Now I go in with some gesso and cover up the leftover areas where I have nothing glued down, and I also add some of the gesso to the whole page just to blend everything in. The gesso I'm using is a heavy gesso, so it means it's more opaque than a normal gesso and not as liquid. I dried the page with my heat tool and now I go in with some background stamping. The stars I'm using here are from the textured Christmas tree stamp set, and I will also use stars from the Celestial stamp set. I'm using an ink that fits my page and I picked a turquoise from Archival Ink. Now I'm going in with my watercolors. This is my favorite part of the process, just adding in colors and playing with them on the page. It's kind of a therapy for me. It just makes me think about nothing, just about making art and playing with the colors. My mind is focusing just on the process and on nothing else, and that's why art is so good and healthy, and that's also why art helps a lot of people with any kind of mental issues. And it's of course the same with other hobbies you have, for example making music or doing sports. But this is what I love about art. It doesn't have to be perfect. The process is the most important thing, and this is what I want to share in my videos, that everybody can do this. You don't have to be a perfect drawer or painter, and it's just making it, and it's not all about the result. Of course we are happy when we create something pretty, and this is why you can learn such techniques as drawing, color theory and stuff like that, and then your art will become better and better. But the most important thing is that you enjoy the process. Also part of art journaling is experimenting and learning about the products you're using and about the paints and supplies. You get to know them better. You see what works good and what doesn't. And also with every time you create, your mind gets new ideas. It's just when I paint in my journal, I always have a new idea how to take this further and how to make something different from it. With the watercolors, sometimes it happens that you create mud when you are mixing the complementaries together, and in this case I just dry my brush and soak the muddy color up. I felt I need something contrasting against the orange and pinks on my spread, and I picked a very intense blue. By the way, the new stamp sets are all 10% off at the moment until Sunday in my store, and of course I have them linked up in the video description. While my pages are drying, I will color in my main image. I decided to pick one of my brand new houses. These are from the Happy Place stamp set, and I'm just using the Inktense pencils to color them in. I have stamped my image to watercolor paper with a permanent ink. I either use Archival Ink or StazOn. I'm blending the pencils with a wet brush. Of course, you can also use a water brush. The pencil I'm using here is not the Inktense from Derwent, but it's the Grafitint, and it's just an inked graphite pencil which is water soluble. It's not a big difference to the others. I just have some of them because I like their colors. They are more neutral and a bit less intense in comparison to the Inktense pencils. I've cut out the house, and before I'm going to glue it down, I want to do some background stamping and something to get more organized on the page. So I just want to have some clear things that you can focus on and that it's not only a mess on the background. I used a piece of a foam mat to lay it under the page to get a better stamp impression because the book is already very bulky. The border I've used here is from one of my doodle border stamp sets. I don't have in mind if it's number 1 or 2, but I will link the right one in the video description. I also add some of the hearts which come with the stamp set. I wanted to add a palm tree to the left side of my spread, and I just use watercolors to color it in. The dye that I've used is from Sizzix. I now glue everything down, and I also add a sentiment. This comes also with the stamp set, and I stamped it to just blank white paper and cut the words out. I'm using some wet glue to stick down the pieces because the watercolor paper is very thick and it adheres better with a liquid glue in comparison to the glue stick. To finish it up, I give the tree some more color. And this is my page for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope we see us next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.